Welcome to the Financial Coaches Podcast, where we talk about how to build your practice from startup to scale up while being the kind of coach your clients crave. Finally, a podcast for financial coaches. Here are your hosts, Maria Casillas and Cody Sizemore.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Financial Coaches Podcast. My name is Cody Sizemore and I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, Maria Casillas. And today we're going to be talking about being authentic, even though that word nowadays doesn't really feel authentic. We're still going to talk about it. But before we get into any of that good stuff and the meat and the potatoes of this episode, I do just want to welcome in any sort of new listeners who are finding this show for the very first time today. We just appreciate that you're here, that you're checking it out. Hopefully you get some value from this episode. And if you do and you want to go back and you want to listen to previous episodes, we have a ton of them. So you're more than welcome to do that. There's a lot of really good information within those. So we encourage you to do that. And then we also would encourage you to say, hey, like if you really did like this episode and you keep doing that deep dive and you keep liking it, you keep liking it, you keep liking it, give the show a follow. Give us a rating, give us a review, share the show, whatever it might be. We do not make any sort of money off of this. We literally just do this because we know there's a need for this type of podcast in our unique space. So we, that continued support through any of those vehicles is going to go a really, really long way. So we appreciate you doing that in advance. Furthermore, we also want to recognize that there are people who do listen to the show literally every single week. They just can't get enough, and it's awesome. So we just want to say thank you to you guys. You are what we call our every weekers. It's because of your continued and loyal support that we are able to continue to do this. That we have the desire to continue to do this, and that we just keep thinking of new things to talk about every single week. So we really appreciate you guys. Thank you for continuing to support this show in the past, for this episode, and for every episode that we're going to be doing moving forward as well. And lastly, if you haven't yet, a really great way to connect with us, being myself and Maria as the hosts of this show, but then also just our community around the show, the people who listen to the show, like-minded coaches, whatever it might be. A really good way to connect with that community of coaches would be through our Facebook group, and it's free to join. So you can simply just type into your little search bar on Facebook, type in the words, the Financial Coaches Community, Buy New Money Habits. You press enter, you'll find it. You press, I want to join this thing. You'll answer a few simple questions and bada boom, bada bing, you're in. And you can say hi, you can ask questions, you can give suggestions for what we should talk about on this show. And then we also offer a few different things throughout the month, like our monthly coaches meetup, everything like that, So that is that Facebook group is free to join. We'd love to see you there. And with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Maria, welcome her in, and just say hi, So hi, Maria. How's it going?
Hi, sir. It's going well. We've got airplanes above us right now. And so, you might hear that in the background, but all's good over here. I appreciate you asking. Yeah. I have to sit over here and giggle just a little bit as you're talking about, being authentically us. And you're obviously fidgety today. You've got the microphone in hand and it's swiveling on your chair.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I love, and I mean this sincerely, how we just show up as us on this show every single day. And there are some people who are probably very annoyed by us and have stopped listening a long time ago, and that's totally fine. But if you have been listening every week, you know that what you hear is what you get, and we are who we say we are. So I just wanted to say how much I really appreciate that. I don't think that that's what you meant by talking about being authentically us, though. I'm pretty sure you meant in the context of our coaching. And so let's dig into what it is that we're going to be chatting about today.
Yeah, it's really just about like breaking the mold of what maybe people feel that financial coaches should be. Um, and I don't want to like put blanket statements or anything like that, but one thing that I have found that as I talk to more and more and more people is that they've complimented me on my authenticity, on my uniqueness, And I always tell them like, "Oh yeah, like I'm not just some bean counter, like like I'm sitting across the desk and like, oh well, the report says this and like everything like that. Like that's not me, right? And I think
Mhm.
that that's why, the people who I talk to, as long as they're a good fit, they really, really buy in to, my coaching and my program and really just who I am kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, so I just thought that it would be a good opportunity, especially for the newer coaches who are like just starting, or maybe they have like a couple clients and they want to make sure that they do things perfectly. That can be a trap, right? And oftentimes, if we try and do things perfectly, we're putting ourselves in a box and we're not allowing us to be creative. It's not allowing ourselves to be authentic. And then our clients then pick up on that, right? And
Yep.
it's boring to them. It's unexciting. It's just like everybody else. And it's like, well, why am I paying this person when I could be finding someone who's a more better fit for me? Kind of, so that's why I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, I love it. And, I talk a lot about when I first started coaching that I had kind of sort of done the Dave Ramsey. I didn't kind of sort of, I 100% did the Dave
Sure.
Ramsey plan. And when I started to branch out into coaching, I then felt compelled to be Dave Ramsey 2.0. And that lasted maybe a few weeks, because I was like, "This is not me." It was a system that we used, but there's so much more to me than this particular system, and so, it took me a little while to be emotionally okay with that, and I think that might be kinda what you're alluding to, Cody, is that we have this idea of what we're supposed to be, and for me, it was like the Dave Ramsey 2.0, and for somebody else, it might be either another person 2.0 or just a specific system that's supposed to be used or a program that should be used. And it's exhausting thinking about copying somebody else. And I will say that in this instance, it wasn't copying for being lazy. I think of like copying someone's test in school. It wasn't because I was lazy. It was because of what you just described, this underlying understanding or belief that we need to be X, Y, and Z, and a little bit of a lack of confidence in being who we actually have been created to be, and to recognize the differences in our gifts and our talents and the things that spark joy for us. And so I love how you said, Cody, that when we are that way, we're attracting the right people into our lives and we're helping them to also be authentic, but to also be able to say, you know what, you're not the right fit for me, because we're not going to be the right fit for everybody. Our personalities are going to be different. Our styles will be different. Our approaches and our beliefs around money are oftentimes different. And so having a real sense of who we are in that arena, I think is super helpful, not just to ourselves, but also to our clients.
Yeah, 100%. And when you find the right person for you and they find the right person for them, there's a really cool synergy that happens.
Mhm.
Uh, whereas if you're just, you're trying to be your best self and you're trying to present to be like the most professional or whatever it might be, maybe you're not being yourself and that causes friction, you know? Uh, and that might cost you clients, to be completely honest with you.
Yep.
And if you do get the client, then it might cost you future clients because maybe they don't have the best experience with you, kind of
Mhm.
thing. So, um, what I will say is, I think that what I would like to do from here is just kind of share like a little peek behind the curtain of my authenticity and uniqueness. Um, Obviously, anything that I'm going to say may not apply to the person listening because I'm not you, kind of thing, right? But it's at least an example of maybe some things that like maybe you could start implementing or even just kind of laying those walls down a little bit to help you with this kind of thing. I don't even know how long this episode is going to be. I think it's going to be pretty short, to be honest with you. Uh, but if it's cool with you, I'd just like to share basically one or two things.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So, for those of you who don't know, music is a huge part of my life. That's the industry that I got started in. It's largely what caused and wreaked havoc on my finances, uh, which then caused me to, fall into this whole realm of the financial realm. Um, and then, that's also how I started like my career off in a lot of ways as well. So music is a huge part of my life. It still is. So I implement that into my coaching in a lot of different ways. So like if I'm hosting like a free masterclass online, I'll start the whole master class off with music. I'll end it with music. In the middle, there'll be like a musical portion kind of thing, just to like set the vibe, and almost like have like a pattern interrupt kind of thing. But also because I want to. It's me, you know. But even like in other instances when I'm working with my clients, there will be certain times where someone reaches a milestone in their goals. Maybe they paid off a debt they've been really working hard on. Maybe they paid off a debt that they really, really didn't like. Um, whatever it might be. Maybe they hit a benchmark in their savings goals, whatever it might be. Um, Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll tell people, I'm like, all right, so we did this. We're not just going to be like, cool, congrats. Now what? Like we're actually going to like appreciate what we just did, right? Like we're gonna celebrate
Celebrate.
what we just did, right? So I will literally like tell people, I'm like, all right, so we're just gonna take a couple minutes. I want you to stand up out of your seat and I'll stand up too. And I'm like, I'm gonna play one chorus of one song, and I just want you to just feel the music and just appreciate everything that it took to get here, where you're at right now, and where you're headed from here, and how you're going to be able to do that too, and just live it up, right? So I'll throw on literally like the chorus of Celebrate by Cool and the Gang.
Mhm.
Celebrate good times, come on. And I'll just be dancing and I'll be cheering them on like, let's say that their names are like Patty and Joe, right? I'll be like, go Patty, go Joe, knocking them out, paying off that debt, like, like all this kinds of stuff. And they're like dancing with their dogs and stuff like that. Like it's fun. It's fun. And
Yep.
that's not professional. That's not professional, but what it is it's a lasting feeling. They're going to remember that feeling. They're going to remember that dance, just that one short dance, and they're going to remember how much fun that was, and how it felt, and then they're going to be encouraged and motivated to do it again, kind of thing. Um, so that's another example, and then there's other times too where I'll even just kind of like meet with someone, and I've met with them for a while, and I can just kind of tell that like their energy's low or there's something going on or they're tired or whatever it might be. And I'll call them out. I'm like, you good? Like, you just seem low energy today. And they're like, oh, yeah, like I got this going on. I got that going on, or I'm tired, or I worked a lot. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Well, we're going to take 2 minutes. We're going to stand up. What's your favorite song? Let's just dance, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I want to see your arms flaring, like, and
We're doing jumping jacks before we're done.
yeah. Yeah, and, I'll just get them moving, get that energy back, and then I'll turn the music off. I'm like, "How are we feeling?" And they're like, "Good, I needed that." I'm like, "Okay, great. So let's keep things going and let's be present. Does that sound good?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Okay, sweet." So
Mhm.
just little things like that. For me specifically, because music is a huge part of my life, that's how I integrate it into my coaching in a very unprofessional way, but it creates a really authentic and safe and quite frankly fun
Mhm.
environment around a topic that most people don't feel is fun.
Mhm. I'm gonna say that you've used the word unprofessional at least twice, maybe even 3 or 4 times
Yep.
in describing this, and I'm wondering I mean, I see what you're saying. It's not stuffy, right? But I I don't know that it's not professional. I mean, if you think
No,
about
I don't think it is.
what
I don't think it is. But I'm
I
talking
guess it
about like
depends on what professional means, and, I guess I hear in there, I hear the word profession, right? Like, what is the
Mhm.
profession? And we've been sort of, you know, taught that professional means stuffy, that it's
Suit and tie.
suit and tie, right? All of
Yeah.
that. But in the interest of I'm not pushing back at this. I want you to know that this is your profession. Your profession is coaching clients.
Hmm.
And part of your ability to do that is with the gifts and talents that you've been given. And one of those is not just music. I mean, music obviously is a talent that you've been given. But I think connecting with people is another talent that you have. And it's part of your profession to be able to connect with people. And everything that you've just described was you finding ways to connect to somebody that some others might not do. But whether others would do it or not doesn't matter. What matters is that it effectively connects with the client that's sitting in front of you at the time. And I would venture to say that that is quite professional.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think it's unprofessional. But I've kept bringing that up because I'm trying to put myself in the thought process in the shoes of two people. One would be maybe the client and what they're expecting,
Hmm.
but then also another one would be maybe like one of those newer coaches that feels like they need to be perfect and fit things into a box, right?
So it's unconventional.
Unconventional is probably a better word. Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
we're giving you permission to be unconventional. Still be professional. Be kind and be
Mhm.
ethical and all of those things that come along with being professional. But yeah, it's okay to be unconventional in your tactics, I think. One of the things, and this is not nearly as fun as being able to jump up and, sing with your clients. But one of the things that I recognized quite a little bit a ways away long ago was that it is okay to be unconventional. And one of the things that I actually did was to help people get out of the way that they thought about tracking their expenses and looking back. Oftentimes people say, we're going to do 3 to 6 months, we're just going to look back at that, and we're going to see how much did you have going out, what were the different categories, and we're going to see where we need to make some cuts. And I realized that that became very dull for people and stale. And quite frankly, it was very overwhelming, and it felt imposing for many, many clients. And I have always been part of a family that was very musical, actually, very talented in a lot of creative ways. I have sisters who are songwriters. I have, my brother is an amazing pianist, and he can just, do it out of pure creativity. It's crazy. And I always was like the black sheep of the family in that manner. I could carry a tune, but I was never like an artist, right? I was never a songwriter, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I played the flute, but I mean, who really needs to play the flute? Like piano is so much cooler than that, unless you're part of a symphony. But I always felt like I was not creative because I was not a creator. If that makes any sense.
Mm.
So I had this vision in my mind of me not being a creative person, and then I had to come to this realization that actually God made me a very creative person, and I'm creative in the way that I think about things and in the way that I view things, and then how I can pull some of that stuff together for other people. And so I was able to find a different way to have people look at their finances, and I won't go into any of the details about that, just to let you know that it took me a long time to be okay with that and recognize that it's actually authentically me. And even though it's unconventional, it's something that with the right people was huge. It was like this giant eye-opening thing for people. They're like, we've never looked at it this way. And it actually feels more empowering than just looking at it the other way that most people do. And so that's just a very small example of being able to step back and go, it's okay to realize how you are, how you were created, what gifts and talents do you have, and how can that be passed along to the clients who were designed specifically for your services.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the important thing, the overarching theme here is whatever unique thing that you can bring to the table that's just going to be a little flavor,
Yeah.
right? It's a flavor. It's almost like a spice kind of thing, like you don't want it to be the main ingredient, but just a little spice, a little flavor that can make you be more authentic, make you be more unique and bring something to the table that maybe they've never seen or experienced from anywhere else. That's what's going to cause them to feel like they're going to be more called to sign up with you in the first place. But then B, also just have a really good relationship and a really good experience together. Because if you can really bond and you can really build that relationship, that's going to lead to more referrals and everything like that. Like they're going to talk and be like to their friends, their family, and be like, this is someone who's like, you will love this person. You will love this person. Like he's not, they're not this like typical person that works with their money, right? Like you will love working with this person, right? And if you can get that, I mean, game over.
Can I throw one C onto that? You said A and B. One C? I promise.
Yeah.
It's a short one. But what you're doing by being this way is you're modeling for them the permission for them to also be them, to be authentically them. And that will help to align all of their finances in a way that actually is sustainable. And I just wanted to throw that little caveat on there.
It's a really good one, for sure. For sure. Cool. Good conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate it very, very much. So I hope that each of you who is listening today also appreciates just these candid conversations where we realize what's going on in our practices and bring it to real life for you. And we hope to see you again next week for another episode of the Financial Coaches Podcast. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Coaches Podcast, brought to you by New Money Habits and Sizemore Financial Coaching. Submit your questions to our hosts by emailing podcast@newmoneyhabits.com. Be sure to subscribe to be notified of future episodes and join our growing group of like-minded coaches on Facebook. And until next time, happy coaching.